This week is week 11, and we have basically been watching videos and and reading some things and having discussions about the use of technology and social media with the students. One of the videos was with Dana Boyd, and she's talking about teen privacy. I really liked this one. It was especially when she brought up some of the teenage girls. There was one whose mother, she kept a journal, and her mother kept getting access to it, and the girl basically was aggravated because her mother was looking at her journal. And I thought that was pretty interesting. As a mother myself with teenage daughters, it's normal for a parent to want to check in on their children's social media pages. I do it. I don't really get on to my kids about a lot of things that they do post, but there for a while we were having to get on to our who are now 17-year-old daughter about some of the things she was posting because it had to do with suicide. And people were going, "You need to get her help." Well, and now she is getting counseling. Um, then there was another one who was in the welfare system, and her social worker wanted to check her social media pages, and mainly Facebook, so that she could go in there and she could see what the young lady was commenting on, what her comments were, her actual page, see what she was posting, and see what reactions were done in between her and other people. And so the young lady got so tired of it that she would log out of it during the daytime while the normal social worker was at work, and then she would open it back up or reactivate it in the evening times, and that's when she would be posting it. So that was a way, I felt like that was a great way to keep her social media Facebook page private. And we all know that teenagers like some sort of privacy. Also, one was what your data reveals about you. And the this goes along really with my journalism class had brought some of this stuff up. Um, you're, there's really not very much privacy out there, especially with Facebook. If once you post it, it is not, even though you can go in there and delete it, somebody could get access to it at some point in time if they really wanted to. But what the data reveals about you was more about these smart electronic devices. So you may have an Alexis or whatever, the smart speaker, and they are actually getting data from you. And as a matter of fact, it was actually on the news today about the smart speaker, and they were talking about how they are getting information from you, but they promise that it's only a select few that they're looking at or they're paying attention to. I guess that can be a good thing because they're trying to figure out if you're doing something that you're not supposed to. Personally, I don't have one in my house, and after finding out that some devices can actually see what you're doing, that's rather scary, and they can listen in on your conversations. Many people have recently cut those things out of their lives, which is probably a smart thing to do. These speakers are connecting to everything, and one of the speakers at this on this particular video stated that they couldn't even her and her husband couldn't even do a cup of coffee. You had to do a specific command in order to do that. What's really scary is she also talked about having a smart toothbrush. That's a little, to me, that's just going above and beyond. We also heard or read about digital natives, yet strangers to the web. And we see technology growing in schools, and that's just a common fact. It's equipping, some kids are being introduced to these devices for the first time and really not having the knowledge that everybody else does. And then the design thinking podcast, one thing that was mentioned was rule number one: don't follow the rules. In order to be creative thinkers, you've got to think outside the box. And my daughter, my youngest child, has been in the gifted program mostly through school. And being gifted does not mean that you're automatically smart. It means you have a different way of thinking than others. And that's what I try to tell her and her sister, because her older sister's constantly saying, well, she's smarter than me. She's not smarter than her. Jalen happens to be different, a different thinker than Joey. And so it's really, Jalen doesn't follow the rules. I mean, she does, but she looks at things in different ways, and she figures out things on an alternate route.